Good evening, everybody. Welcome to NUFC 360. I'm Michael. I'm joined tonight by Ez.
Hello. Hi, Michael. How's it going?
All right, mate. It's all right. We're here to talk about the game tomorrow at Fulham away. So we're going to have a look at how we think we're going to do and how we think it'll go and what it means in our season overall. But I suppose the main topic we need to talk about before we start is Harry Maguire going to make the World Cup squad? No, I'm joking. Is basically, are we close, if we don't win tomorrow, to having a bad start? I think our friend Alex Hurst mentioned this on one of his tweets, and it's a very good point. Are we close as to, if we don't win tomorrow, is that class as a bad start for us?
Like with most things, I think it depends. I think it depends on if you're looking at it from the lens of just points tally, then yes, probably. If we lose, then we don't necessarily have, I think, the appropriate amount of points that reflects how well we've actually played this season so far. I don't necessarily think that it would be a bad season if you just look at performances, assuming that we have a half decent game tomorrow. I think we've had decent games. I think we've been in every game. We've had one narrow defeat. Even if we lose tomorrow, we probably should have won at least 3 games. So no, I actually disagree with that. I think we've had a good season, and I think it's being a little bit putting a bit too much pressure and just being a bit hyperbolic with like, oh, we have to win this game if we lose it. Our season so far has been a disaster. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, we were just saying before we came on there about our record down in London, which is not great. I mean, you know, as I said, I've never been to a game away down there where we've won. Not saying we haven't won in London, because obviously we have, and especially against Fulham recently. But it's not good overall, is it? So to not expect anything to me is something to me. You know, like I say, it's just a graveyard, London, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, historically, I know maybe not so much recently, but historically, Cravan Cottage has been a bit of a bogey ground for us. Fulham have been a bit of a bogey team. And then you look at like the different factors, like Mitrovic, and if he's fit, it's just sod's law that he's going to have a good game against us. And actually,
I mean, he's having a good season, full stop, isn't he? He started like no one was expecting. A bit like Fulham, really. No one was expecting them to be where they are and to have got results, have they?
They're going to be difficult to beat. I think they're going to play on the front foot. I think they've surprised a few teams this season with how they've come about. They haven't necessarily played like a newly promoted team against, like, especially the bigger teams like Liverpool. They've come out. They've played a high line, and Mitrovic has got 50% of their goals. He's got 6 of their 12 goals. So I know there's a little bit of talk about him potentially being out of the game, which I don't know if I haven't had an update today from the manager, Fulham manager, around whether he's actually going to be fit or not. I probably wouldn't even disclose it either way.
Yeah. No,
I think the game does hinge on how fit Mitrovic is.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'd like to have seen Mitrovic go up against Big Dan. I think that would have been tasty. I think that would have been, you know, I don't think there'd been a lot of love lost there somehow, you know, because he does like put himself about a bit, doesn't he, old Mitro?
Yeah. I don't know whether we're going to move on to this in a little bit, but yeah, in terms of lineup, I really fancy playing Sven Botman for this game, and
let's move on. Let's move on to the lineup. Yeah, go on. So you think Botman rather than Big Dan, or does Big Dan start at left? I don't know how might. I mean, as far as I know from Eddie's press conference today, everyone apart from, I think, Chris Wood is maybe a doubt because of his rib injury he got playing for the Kiwis. So say Target is fit, does Big Dan feature in the team, or does he give way to Botman and Shah?
Well, given that Sven Botman didn't go to refuse to call up for under-21s so that he could concentrate these 2 weeks with the club.
Yeah,
I'm like, imagine if he did that and then Eddie Howe doesn't pick him for the next game. I feel like it would be a little bit disheartening.
Yeah,
if he did that. So I can't see him not playing him, to be honest.
Yeah.
So by that logic, I would start Target and Trippier as fullbacks, and I'd go with Botman. I'd go with Botman and Cher, but I think he might go with Botman and Lascelles, just to kind of
Lascelles.
I think he'd go for Lascelles. Lascelles has trained for 2 weeks. He hasn't been on international duty, and I think he knows Mitrovic. He's played with Mitrovic. He's played on the same team as Mitrovic.
Yeah,
So I think he might use that to our advantage and just be that kind of battering ram to help kind of counter the physical presence that Mitrovic brings. So that would be my defense. And obviously, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know about Lascelles though. I mean, I think it depends. It depends who's fit. I mean, like you said, it does make sense that Botman might be a bit like, oh, hang on, thanks for making me. Well, not making me. You know, he's tried to show a bit of like, you know, keenness by saying, well, I won't go away. I'll stay here and I'll train. You know, because he's new. So yeah, but I don't know about Lascelles. Really, I don't. I think he's a backup cup man. Really, I think he's. I can't see him starting, but you never know, do you? So I'm just looking at some of the messages here saying about that. Obviously, Isak's out. So ASM and Wood are a doubt. Now, Bruno, everybody's talking about Bruno. Bruno, to me, when he played the other day against, and it's gone completely out of my head, but our last game, Bournemouth, which I was there at, which is dreadful. But I was he didn't seem himself. Now, I know he didn't play for Brazil. He went, as far as I know, did he not? Am I right about that? He did go.
Yeah, he went and came back.
He went and came back. So if he's not fit enough to play for Brazil, but he's fit enough, to be in our squad tomorrow, then is he carrying some sort of like injury that's going to occur every so often? That's what it seems to me, is that he's borderline. He's on that edge to me where he's like because he goes there and then comes back. And what do you think? Do you think is he carrying something maybe?
Well, according to Eddie Howe today, he's fit. He's just maybe not match sharp. So I don't know whether he just had a little niggle whilst he was on international duty and they pulled him back just as a precaution. That's kind of what I got from it. In that he's fit, but they just maybe he felt something and now it's gone away. But it's not. There isn't much rhythm at the moment. There's just generally not a lot of rhythm to the games. We're not getting a lot of like games coming thick and fast. It seems to be very stop-start, and our injuries are very stop-start. So Bruno's kind of fit, but then he kind of isn't. I guess the only way to get match sharpness is to play.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about us playing, especially at home, playing teams who just want to sit deep and let us, they want us to come on to them. Whereas obviously Fulham, as you were saying earlier on, quite rightly, are a very up and at 'em team. So maybe that might suit us in general. If Fulham want to get at us, and we can just sit back and then hit them on the break, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know how I feel about what the result's going to be, but I think if this is a very winnable game for us, simply because of what you just said there. Games like Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, who paid us a lot of respect, which is fair enough, but actually Fulham won't pay us the same respect in that way, and they're at home. So I think it's a shame Isak's not playing. It's a shame he won't play. I don't think he'll be fit. Because I think this would be a great game for him. Yeah, he's out, and ASM as well. Great game for ASM. I don't think he'll start ASM. May see him off the bench.
Yeah. But hopefully Callum Wilson will be fit. I think a bit like Shelby. I think when our game is just so clue to him. He's just such a goal scrounger. It's untrue. So let's hope he's fit and he can just he doesn't. I mean that goal he scored against Forest, for example, he didn't really have a great game, but that goal he scored was just out of nothing because he didn't have a sniff really, and he just turned that into something. I mean, is that the sort of game? Is tomorrow the sort of game where he can do that? Do you think his chance is going to be few and far between, and he's the man to take them if they come up?
Well, I'm much more confident with him there than with anyone else, to be honest, and I include Isak in that as well. At the moment, I mean, he's still learning how to play in the Premier League. The only thing is with Wilson, I doubt he'll play the whole game, and so I don't. If we win it, I'm sure Wilson will be involved in us winning it. But at the same time, I think what will hold us back is the fact that Wilson won't be fit for the whole game. We'll have to take him off, probably bring on someone else who won't be as good, and then we might fall away. That's my only But you're right. Yeah, no, Wilson's clinical, so yeah,
he's a real goal
great
scrounger,
form
isn't
as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, talking about clinical, Ryan Fraser seemed to have had a good, not that I watched them, but he seemed to have had a good international break. Do you think he'll start tomorrow?
Yeah.
Do you think, does he need to step up as well, like he did for Scotland? I mean, where's that Ryan Fraser when he plays for Newcastle?
I don't know. I've probably seen about 3 or 4 good games from Ryan Fraser where he just worked really hard off the ball, and then he scored a couple of goals during that period as well. But in general, he hasn't. He just hasn't. I don't know whether he's been played out of position, whether he prefers the right over the left, but
Mm,
he seemed to have a good relationship with Trippier on the right hand side, and that would be my preference: is play him on the right. You know, he's right-footed. He's got a relationship with Trippier. Play Almiron on the left because he's so left-footed.
yeah.
Give them the best possible chances is what I'm saying. I'm not sure where Fraser's playing for Scotland, but there's something they're doing right. They're getting the best out of him that we haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Miggy's again. He's one of those people. He's the sort of player who divides people, isn't he? I mean, to me, you can't help but like him. I know I keep saying that, but he is like a puppy, isn't he? That you just found sat next to a big pile of shite, isn't he? He just like looks at you in those eyes, and you're like, oh, I just wish he was better. But do you think then, if he was playing on the left, that we would get the best out of him? And if that's true, then why doesn't he play there then?
I think there must be some data that backs up the
Yeah,
fact that we are creating more chances, or more chances are created with inverted wingers. Like in swinging crosses, give you more chance of scoring a goal. I think that Eddie Howe's just going with like data-driven decisions like that because he's that
yeah,
kind of guy. But
yeah,
actually, when you see it play out on the field and you see the number of times Almiron checks in, yeah, I just think try something different. Just because we've seen it now for like how many games in a row. And I know what you're saying about Almiron. You know, you can't help but like him. But where's Finn after
yeah.
X number of games of him not scoring or assisting? Like, okay, I don't care that you're a good honest player anymore. We need some output.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think he divides people. People that have got a lot of patience with him, or just like you said, just tired of him, just not like doing what he can do. I mean, like he did against Palace at home last year. That was where did that goal come from? Well, why don't we see that every week? I mean,
Yeah, that goal made me really happy and like really annoyed at the same time for that exact reason. 'Cause
but
I'm like,
that's what. Yeah,
hang on a
that's
minute, like
exactly what I'm
why don't we see
saying.
that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, oh, bless him. It's so, I mean, that's the thing about all of them, really. I mean, they do work really hard. I don't see anyone nowadays sort of like, just like, I mean, you could say that about Willock, but I think he just gets tired, simple as that. But you don't see anyone pulling up the old drawbridge, do you, going, oh, that's it. I mean, Ryan Fraser always, he's always got a lot of endeavour, and so is Miggy, but there just doesn't ever seem to be any sort of end product with either of them, does there?
No, no, and when you think about historically Ryan Fraser, he's just a fantastic crosser of the ball, and we don't see him do that enough.
Yeah.
So there is something that we need to tweak tactically. Like I said, I don't know if that means switching wings or something else. I'm not entirely sure. I personally tomorrow would play Fraser and Almiron. I'd probably put one Fraser on the right, Almiron on the left. But actually, what I'd do as well is I'd bring Anderson on fairly quickly. I'd bring Anderson on maybe if he's fit. I'd play maybe at 60-minute mark. Bring Anderson on for Fraser or Almiron, and get
Yeah.
something new,
Yeah.
that we haven't tried yet.
Yeah, yeah. So going back to the midfield then, or to round it up in general, what team does he play tomorrow? Does he pretty much play the same team that he played against Bournemouth then? Do we have Bruno and Big Joe and Joe Willock in the middle, or does he get, because it's away, does he pick, I don't know, Longstaff maybe instead of Willock to keep it a bit tighter? How do you think, what formation do you think he's going to play?
I think, given what we spoke about with Fulham playing a high line and on the front foot, I think having as much pace as possible is probably be a good idea. So I think he'll stick with Willock over Longstaff. I do see logic in Longstaff being there, but I think he'll start with the same team. What I would do, though, I would do something slightly different. I'd probably play Bruno, Big Joe, and I'd probably play Anderson there instead, actually. I'd probably start with Anderson as one of the three, but I don't think he will.
No, maybe not away from home. I don't know if that has any, thinking in any sort of like, any thought to Eddie Howe about, well, we're away. I mean, if he plays the same team, then I think that's pretty much that's him set. Apart from obviously people coming in and out, obviously when Maxi comes back, maybe Fraser will drop out or whatever. But I think if he plays exactly the same team that he played against Bournemouth, I think that's pretty much saying these are our guys. Really, to me, because he's not. Will he change it because he's playing away from home? I don't know. I'm trying to think about Wolves, but then again, he did play Longstaff. No, did he start with Longstaff? I can't remember now. God, my memory's getting dreadful.
Oh, against Wolves. Don't remember against Wolves.
No, I know Longstaff came on, so
yeah.
So what's your finishing off then? What's your prediction for tomorrow then? What do you think will happen? What do you want what's your head say?
Well, my head says that I've seen so many draws this season. I think it's going to be another draw, because the head has forgotten what it feels like to see a win. So the head is saying a draw.
Yeah,
the heart is saying 2-1 Newcastle, but
2-1 Newcastle. Yeah. I've been dreadful, as anyone who wants to watch back on these will no doubt testify. Completely wrong. Completely wrong against about Man City, which I think most people did. And if you didn't get it wrong about Man City, then you're a liar. I got it completely wrong about Bournemouth, because I thought we would have really put them to the sword. I thought, we're going to be up for this, and we weren't. Which is why, for me, I think it would be a 1-1, really. I can't see us winning, he says, hoping that I am wrong, because we're really not we're not really giving anyone a good hiding, are we? And like I said before, our record in London is just dreadful.
Yeah, I think once we get a rhythm of games and we get some players back, I think that's the key word, is rhythm. We just don't have it. And I think this is the start of a new sequence of games that we're going to have. I think because it's the start of a new sequence of games, we've got players coming back. We don't even know if he's going to play the likes of Cher, Almiron. They've been on planes and traveling and stuff like that. We don't know what kind of team's going to come out. I think it might be a bit of a disjointed performance. And we haven't been that great away from home, really. I think back to the Brighton game, which was not great. So I'm hoping you're wrong again this time. Yes. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I've got.
So am I. I would so like to be wrong. So I would so like us to get that an away win, which is what, as I was saying, we have done quite well at Fulham in the not too distant past. Not everywhere else though. So well, thank you, Ez, for joining us tonight, and we'll wrap it up by saying, "How are the lads?"
Away the lads. Thank you.